What's up?
How's it going?
Good. Let me get everything set up here. I just got your message too. You're fine.
Okay, cool.
Now, I didn't realize that I clicked on like they can't join before the house. I'll let everybody get on and then I'll mute everyone.
Is he in there?
What's up, Brad?
Who's that?
Creepy guy in the
Creepy
corner.
guys talking in the background.
What's up, man? How's it going? I was like, I can't.
That's funny. He's always like, it looks like it's me and my team calls and my pictures and my videos, and there's like Brett right there.
You're just hanging out right next to me.
Yeah.
Creepy guy in the background, you know?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, Janice likes to hide downstairs because she'll end up making baby noises with our dog. So, so we try to keep that downstairs. But sorry if you hear anything in the background. There's a bunch of construction work going on around here, by the
Oh,
way.
you're fine. No, the pipe just busted. We have a retaining wall between us and the neighbor, and it just fell and busted a pipe. And so we have like no water in the house right now, and we're like maintenance people are in and out, so it might be crazy.
Oh no!
So I know.
Never done a team call during the day before. This is cool.
I know. We usually have like maybe 20-ish people on, but a lot of them listen to the recording, so it just kind of frees up my night. So I like it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. All right. It is 11:02. I'm gonna mute everyone, and then I will unmute Brad when we're ready. We'll allow some people some time to get on. Thanks for hopping on. I don't have any big opening speeches. I'm yelling at all of you already about Success Club and the importance of locking that in the next 2 days. So make sure you're digging deep. Make sure you're getting your follow-ups done. Make sure you have a challenge group up and running that you're promoting to. You have today and tomorrow. That's it to lock in leads and Success Club and everything else that comes with Success Club. So make sure you're making that a priority. I'm super excited for Brad to be on. I'll go through like his stats I posted for you guys. So he's been a coach for 27 months. So not a long time at all, just over 2 years. He's 3-star diamond, almost 5-star qualifying, which is awesome. So close. He's an all-star 10 legend. He's at Success Club for all 27 months as a coach. Fired his boss 8 months into the business.
Whoop-de-whoop.
Whoop-de-whoop. Brett's going to make the awkward noises in the background, too. And he's been to leadership twice, qualified for leadership, qualified for Success Club trips both years, been to Summit all 3 years, been on stage with Autumn, so you've probably seen pictures of him with Autumn Calabrese doing her line workouts and things like that. Just a super inspiring coach. I'm really excited to hear what he has to say, and I've got my notepad ready, and I'm going to let you take it over. Let me unmute you, and then I'll just mute myself, and you just go for it, okay?
Cool. Wow. It's actually a very similar thing on my team, yelling at people for Success Club and all of that right now. Come on, guys. 2 days at the end of the month. But before I begin, I just want to say thank you very much to Raina and Brett for having me on the call tonight. It really is a privilege. And I don't know if any of you guys are further down the line from Raina than just her PS coaches, but I want to just take 2 seconds and help you guys to understand what an amazing leader you guys have in her and how much she pours herself into helping you. You're in very good hands. So this business, she clearly works extremely hard at it. And every single time we talk, she's always talking about how she can help you guys have more success in your lives. So be really appreciative of that because you don't find that very often. And it's amazing. And she's actually been helping me quite a bit as well. And it just goes to show the type of person she is. So I just want to say that so you guys can appreciate what Raina does before we get going. But it really is a privilege to be on here and to help you guys out in any way I can. And I hope you find this valuable and inspiring and maybe some knowledge to help move your business forward. So I'm going to kind of dive right in. And new coaches, I'm very high energy. So don't be afraid of me. There are going to be times in this call where I seem intense and really passionate. And am I allowed to like swear a little bit? Is that bad? Okay. There are going to be times where I kind of kick your ass a little bit on the call, and I promise it's all out of love, and I get super excited, especially to you new coaches out there. It's just because I'm very, very passionate about this business and how much it can change your life. So anyways, I appreciate the introduction, and it's nice of you to go through those things and share those accolades. But I want to start off this call by talking about how literally zero of the things that Raina just said reflect any of the failure to go through that I had to go through to get there. And I remember when I was a brand new coach, I would see all these top leaders like Raina with these super awesome accomplishments being recognized for so many different things. And I was like, holy cow, that's insane. How are they doing that? And over the course of time, as I grew my business, I started to realize exactly what they were doing and what they were going through that holds a lot of people back. So the only reason why your coach is where she is, or Brett is where he is, or Leslie Cordes is where she is, or Anita, or any of these guys are where they are today, or myself, is because they've probably failed the most at what they do. Your coach is the biggest failure on your team. Your upline she's a professional failure. Raina, you're a huge failure. But that's the only reason, guys. That's the only reason, because they've probably failed the most in what they do. They're professional failures. So if you don't accept failure as a way to your goals, you need to dive into this stuff. There's a reason every top coach recommends it. Do it. It's not like they're just telling you for fun. They don't want to waste your time. They're telling it to you for a reason. So what I want to do to kind of help bring this back down to a little bit of reality for you is share, before I go into my main topic tonight, is to share kind of some of the struggles and failures that I've gone through over the last 27 months to show you how failure really is the only way that you can get to success. Josh Spencer once said at the men's leadership retreat in Dallas in March, he said, the only way that you will ever stand where I'm standing is if you are willing to openly accept failure as a. And that is so incredibly true. Guys, I don't know if there's an unmuted line on there, I think someone's typing or something, but I'm getting a little bit of a feedback noise somewhere in there. But anyways, so I want to pull up a list here and go through some of the failures that I've had just really briefly. To kind of show you what this was really like. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, and it's still not. So the first 3.5 months I was in this business, I had to call in favors to hit Success Club. Don't tell my coach that. There were a lot of weeks that I would sign up a bunch of coaches, and the following week they would return their orders and they would quit. There were Facebook groups that were started to make fun of me, and I was defriended by over 400 people in my first 3 months coaching because I didn't know how to use social media. I struggle with compulsive overeating, so following a meal plan is a royal pain in the ass. I used to let Beachbody come in the way of my relationship with Janice for a really long time, and she resented what I did because of that. My first 6 months, I didn't know how to run a challenge group. I was literally the only person participating. I advertised a fit club to over 500 people for 6 weeks in a row, and the most people that ever showed up were 3, and most of the time it was 1, and that was Janice because I made her go. There was a 3-week period where I sent out 100 Facebook messages and I received 10 responses total, all telling me they didn't want to have anything to do with me. It took me 2.5 years to figure out how to start off coaches the right way, and I'm still learning and figuring it out, and Raina is helping me with that, which she has been wonderful with. Where am I in this list? Last month, I had 6 personally sponsored coaches quit on my team. Raina mentioned at the beginning that I quit my job 8 months into business. I actually told her to say that on purpose because that's a failure, because at that point, my business was relying completely on retail. I did not have a significant business. I wasn't building team volume, and I wasn't putting this business in front of other people. I have been stuck at 300 coaches on my team for 6 months. Haven't raised that at all, and working really hard on that. I dropped from 3-star diamond back to diamond for an entire year, and I'm not even back there now. I'm back to 2. When I got back from Summit 2 years ago, some of the leaders on my team, the diamond coaches, the only 2 of the 3 that I had, told me they didn't like our team environment and our sense of culture, and they quit. And my biggest failure of all time is my mentality on how to work with my coaches. And the call tonight is really about if you think it's your job to make your coaches do something and the importance of constant recruitment, because that is my biggest failure, and it's the topic for a reason. So the point before I go into that is that this isn't all sunshine and rainbows, guys. There's a lot of struggle, and you're going to have a lot more struggle than you will ever have success. You're probably going to fail at this more than you've ever failed at anything in your entire life. And that's what will make you successful. But all that stuff sounded pretty harsh, right? It sounded absolutely brutal. But the reality is I'm really excited about it, because you cannot succeed in this business without failing. It is literally impossible to build a significant business without failing. Henry Ford said failure is merely an opportunity to start again more intelligently. That's it. It means you're going to figure things out faster than the person that doesn't fail. That's all failure means. And that's a fact. It's the best thing that can happen to you. Raina fails all the time. Leslie fails all the time. And if you look at Leslie's business, she failed epically for the first 2 years of her business. Trust these guys and listen to them. Don't make excuses and listen to everything they say and have it go in one ear and out the other. They're sharing with this stuff with you because they know what is best for your business. So real quick, I wish I had time to go through like step by step, and I'm happy to come back and do another call on actually finding your purpose and your real why, not the BS one that we kind of tell our coaches sometimes, like what we think they want to hear. And if I had more time, I would go into that. But the point is, when you find your real, deep, passionate, actually I have a book on this that I want to recommend to you. This is the book that helped me to find what my why was. There, how a lot of PD books called Flip the Switch by PJ McClure. How a lot of PD books will they'll tell you great takeaways and you can apply it and it's great. This actually gives you a formula step by step for finding your why. And if it was a different call, I could go into that. So I want to recommend it. But the point is, when you find that real, deep, passionate, vulnerable, and emotional reason why you are on this call right now instead of, watching Netflix or whatever it is, then you'll want to implement the things that I'm going to go through tonight as a skill set. There's a great quote that I want you guys to think about and write this down. When your purpose is deep enough, taking action becomes second nature. You just do it. You just do it. And I think about how I used to be in my business where I would go like 3 weeks strong and then I would lose, I would kind of lose steam and kind of slack off for a week, or in this month, the hardest month of the year, right? In my business, I would be that person that kind of almost just barely made it to Success Club 10 because I was kind of trickling through my business. But when I found my purpose about 9 months ago with this book, I have never lost motivation one time because my purpose is deep enough. So taking action to fulfill these things coming true just happens. So there's a metaphor that I want you guys to hear on why your purpose needs to be clearly defined before I can go into the skill set of constant recruitment. It's because your purpose is an internal guide, and that's going to stay true no matter what. So the metaphor is it's like sailing. If you have a compass when you're sailing, right? The metaphor is your compass is your purpose. And so when a storm comes and it blocks the sky and the stars, and there's waves that are 50 feet tall in every single direction, you can still steer your boat with your compass. And when that storm in your life, as the metaphor subsides, which it always does, you're still on course. And you're further along in your journey. In the meantime, all those people that never spent the time to find their purpose are crashing against the rocks, or they're wondering what the heck they're going to do because they didn't know where they're going. So now I can't really go into what my purpose is and how I got there, but my question for you is, do you really know yours? Not just, I want to earn 6 figures. That's not a purpose. That's a goal. Your purpose is the emotional attachment to what this will do for your life. So if you're having trouble with that, work with your upline, work with your coach, but don't do what I did for a year and a half, 2 years, and avoid this. And if you think about it, why do most people not do it? Because it takes a lot of time. It takes going places in your life that I'm pretty sure most people want to block out from their life. Most people don't do it. It's non-conforming, but think about it. Are most coaches successful? No. Most coaches are not successful. So if you want to be and feel successful, do what everyone else does not, right? It's scary. And I remember those exact same feelings of being absolutely terrified. And I didn't know how being that direct would go on calls like this, but fear is that thing that stops us from pursuing our dreams. And fear is that thing that makes you think twice before you even consider trying. And you reject yourself before you have the opportunity to be rejected. Write this down. My success partner, Colleen Curtis, lives by this. And that is, everything you ever want in life is always on the other side of fear. Everything you ever want in life is always on the other side of fear. So I challenge you right now to attack this business in a different way than normal. Successful people, they're always optimistic regardless of the circumstance. So instead of asking yourself, what if you fail? Because trust me, you are going to fail at this more than you have ever failed at anything else in your entire life. Ask yourself instead, what if I succeed? What if my purpose is fulfilled? What if I can retire my husband? What if I can travel without having to worry? What if I can change the lives of literally thousands of people? What if I can give my kids the future they deserve? What if I succeed? That is your new mentality. And there's a reason why the majority of people won't even consider doing what we do. And it's only because they're afraid. You are not most people. You're special and you are enough to make this happen. You're a freaking Beachbody coach that's going to change a lot of lives. Take pride in the fact that you're weird. You are different than most people. That's a good thing. There's so much social identity behind what we do, right? A school teacher, a stay-at-home mom, a fireman, an engineer, all amazing things, right? Those are all great. But when it comes time to stand up with actual pride, like real pride, and say, I'm a Beachbody coach and I want to help you, people cower and they hide. Please accept the fact that helping people is really cool. And that inner strength to say that is stronger than 98% of people out there. That's why you're here right now on this call instead of doing something else. You want this. You join an industry that's going to be the cause of a lot of envy. Embrace that, because that's going to be your advantage. Whatever that struggle is, that's going to be your advantage. Use it to drive you. That inner strength is what you need right now. So especially in this time of year when things are actually hard, you need that purpose. So we know the purpose of talking about how failures are actually a good thing, and the purpose of talking about purpose, right? Let's integrate that into skill sets that you can use, an area that I failed with to implement as a new coach. So how many of you guys have ever signed up a coach and gotten really excited because they're all on board and they sit there and they do absolutely nothing? Anyone? Story of my freaking life. What about how many of you guys feel like you're pushing a rope, or, you know, if you could just find a better training video, these guys would just get it. If I can just get them to watch this or convince them to join this Coach Basics group, they would be an absolute rock star. Anyone? Anyone? I used to do that all the time. And I want to be the first to tell you that you are wasting your time. I've been in this business for 27 months, and for the first 20 of them, and basically 26 of them, I was doing something similar to that. And for the most part, the first year and a half, I was that guy that was convincing my coaches to do this. I was not duplicating at all. I was relying on retail sales, and my volume didn't grow. And that's why my business 2 years into this is the size of some coaches that have been in here for 6 months, right? That's why. And that's not a bad thing. Comparison's the thief of joy, and I don't think we should compare to other people. But I want you guys to know something. It is not your job to babysit your team. It is your job to find prospective talent, plug them into a duplicatable system, which you already have in the Luxe Republic, which is a badass name. You know, your Coach Basics group, your Getting Started process, your Emerald Diamond, whatever it is, and then give them your experience and mentor them along the way. And there may be some coaches on this call thinking that it's 100% Raina's job to do this for your coaches. It's not. She gave you a system. You have to use that with your team. It is not her job to run your business. There's a great quote that I like to use with my coaches, and that's, I will help you build your business. It's just, I will help you build your business. And then I break that down. I will help you build your business. That is how I want that sentence broken up for you guys. So what I used to do is I used to go in spurts. I would recruit like crazy for a month or two and find a bunch of partners and work really hard on trying to get them going. And I'd spend a couple months trying to mobilize them and create better systems. And I was convincing them to join this Coach Basics group. Like, please, if you just join this group, I know you'll learn everything you need to know to be successful. Just please join this group. And I want to use that word convince and highlight that keyword convince. If you're finding that you're convincing your coaches to do this, something is going wrong. Chances are your time is being spent incorrectly. You should never have to convince someone to do this. It's a complete waste of time. I used to chase people down, and when I would actually get them in those systems, those Coach Basics programs, I was like asking them to post, and it would be like crickets in there. And when I was brand new, and guys, I'm not perfect at this. I mean, Raina's been helping me with my getting started process recently, and I'm still struggling with stuff like this because I know what this can do for a lot of people, and I want them to be successful. But when I was a new coach, my coach, Jessie Vanderberg, told me this. She's an elite coach 3 times, and she told me the exact same thing I'm telling you right now, and I did not listen to her because I only had a couple coaches on my team, and I had like 2 to 3 coaches. One was Janice because I was buying her Shakeology, and I had 2 other people, and it was slim pickings, right? And I didn't listen to her. I knew what this business could do, and I just wanted them to see success so badly. And my business would be way bigger than it is now if I would have just listened at the beginning. So take that advice, because I screwed up, and I constantly stayed in the game because my purpose was deep enough. And finally, I realized this, and about 9 months ago, my business started duplicating. And there's still improvements along the way, but it's not your job to get your team to do something. It's your job to recruit like crazy and give them an opportunity to do something, and then support them along the way. So I have 6 or 7 tips that I want to share with you on just kind of what I've learned through this, the importance of consistently recruiting. And that the first kind of goes into, it's kind of like how you work with your team. One is don't enable them. It's very easy just to give your coaches all of the answers. Trust me, because I did it. And I wanted them to become successful. And when it came time for them to start leading, they needed me to lead their team, and they weren't empowered to lead themselves. What I do now is I point them to the FAQ or Google, because chances are Scotty Hobbs or Caleb Thomas has made a video on it, right? Point them to the team page that you guys have. Think of how fast they'll get an answer, plus they'd have camaraderie between each other. And would you rather work with every single coach one-on-one every single day, or have them all working together and then you be a support system? So empower them to become independent. The next one, at the end of the day, this is a numbers game. And guess what? 10% or less of the people that you sign up to do this business are actually going to do something. 10% or less. So would you rather recruit 10 people and settle trying to motivate all of them to get up and move? Or would you understand that just 1 out of 10 is actually going to get off their butt and do something? And guess what? When you find that 1 out of 10, that's going to be your Raina. You know, you're not going to have that pressure of having to convince them. They're going to do it themselves. You know, your leader is an example of that. I can guarantee you that Leslie didn't have to drag Raina to do this. She didn't have to drag her along the way. She was 1 out of 10, right? I bet Melanie Mitchell never had to drag Val Bazo or Katie Ursa, right? She never had to drag them. They were that 1 out of 10. You know, Lindsay Matway didn't even have an upline. She was that 1 out of 10. They're just going to do it anyways. So where would you rather spend your time? Recruiting people so you can find that one that's just going to do it? Or take your 10 and try to get all of them to do something, right? The next one is systems. Stop trying to make people successful. Give them the opportunity to be successful and plug them into a system. And the best part is you have one. You have one of the most efficient leader-producing systems in the entire company. It doesn't matter what works. It matters what duplicates. People are not duplicatable, but systems are, right? So the next one is to have a system, which you already do. Just duplicate it. The next one, and this is where I'm going to kind of turn up the heat a little bit, is lead by example. I'm going to get really real. If you're not in Success Club, this business will not build into something amazing. If you want your team to recruit and bring in coaches, you'd better be bringing in coaches. If you want your team to hit Success Club, you'd better be hitting Success Club. And if you're not in Success Club, it is not a matter of your monthly shit that you got going on in your life. It's because you didn't work hard enough to hit Success Club. That is just the truth. And I'm sorry if that offends someone. It's not meant to offend you, but it's the truth. If you're not in Success Club, it's because you are not willing to work hard enough to get there. And if you are working your ass off to get there, plug into some personal development, figure out a skill set that you can learn to improve along the way. But think of it like the CEO of a business, like a traditional corporation like Walmart, right? Walmart or Costco or whatever, just a huge traditional business. And you're the CEO of that business. Your multi-million-dollar business, which this can become. And you walk into that board meeting on Monday morning, and your numbers, and before that, you walk into the board meeting on Monday morning, and your mission as a company, Walmart's mission, is to help people lead happier, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. That's your mission as a company. You're all about helping people change their life. But you walk into that board meeting and your numbers are stagnant or they're going down. Will you have a company to help people with if that is the case? No. You need to think about this like the CEO of a business, right? Success Club 5 is the bare minimum of what you do. That is, your job is to hit Success Club 5. And if you're not hitting Success Club 5, it means you're not willing to do the bare minimum to build this business. Okay? Think about it like that. You cannot expect your coaches to do anything that you are not doing. So if you aren't following your workouts or drinking your Shakeology, and this I'm going to blow your mind right here, you are making a conscious business decision to not grow your business. It's not just for your body. These products, they are for your body and for improving your health, but think of why someone comes on board in a challenge group, right? Why did they join you? Because they see you struggled. You overcame that struggle with this product or supplement, and now you are here. You ask them to join you. So if you're not following your workouts, drinking your Shakeology, and doing the meal plan, you are literally saying that I don't want my business to grow. That is a conscious business choice that you're making. And finally, if you're making BS excuses with your personal development, your coaches are making BS excuses with their personal development. You know, if you want what successful people have, do what successful people recommend to do. You will never find one successful coach in this network that does not give credit to personal development as the majority of the reason to why they are where they are. You have to grow into the person that deserves success. It is no longer what do I have to do to achieve this goal? It's who do I have to become to achieve this goal? That is what you need to think about personal development with, and that is how you become a bigger person to achieve that goal. Okay, so I've made that point very clear. Next is remove the emotional attachment from the outcome of a brand new coach. And let me finish this point before you guys judge what it is, but basically coaches are going to come in, and some are going to start super strong, and then the next month they had to take out the trash and they forgot about the team call, right? You know, or some coaches are going to hit diamond and then they're going to slow down, or some people are going to make excuses and some people are going to sign up and you're never going to hear from them again, and then they're going to blame you or the world for their problems, right? Remove the emotional attachment from what a brand new coach does. Care about them and genuinely believe in their dreams and what they want out of this business. Believe in them, but don't trust that they're going to do it, because chances are, statistically, they won't. So if you remove the emotional attachment, then you can focus on recruiting more and finding the people that will. And then all of a sudden, those people that you're doing your one-on-one calls with, you get excited when you're done mentoring them. You get off the call and you're fired up about how this business just helped them pay for their electricity bill, right? You're fired up. So stop focusing on the emotional attachment when it comes to a new coach. And that kind of goes into working with the willing. My next point, if you guys haven't listened to the audio, Jim Rohn's Building Your Network Marketing Business, listen to it. Oh my gosh, I have listened to this probably 50 times, and every single time I have a new takeaway. Every time I'm in my car, I listen to this audio because it's just amazing. And one of the many things that he talks about in this audio is the law of reaping and sowing, right? You reap what you sow. And I think it actually is a story from the Bible or something. I have no idea where it came from, but I'm going to give you guys the metaphor. But you're a farmer in this metaphor, and you're sowing the seed in the field, right? And you're planting the seed, and you're ambitious, right? You want your crop to grow so you can make a shit ton of money and yield a big harvest. And you have this giant bucket of seed, and you're determined. You're going to go out there and you're going to sow the seed, right? You're planting the seed. And there are a couple situations that happen that kind of disable our success. The first is that some of that seed kind of falls out of the cart and the birds get it, right? The birds come down and they grab the seed and they fly away with it. These are your people that you talk to about the business opportunity. You're plugged into an open house or came to a business opportunity phone call, and you never heard from them again because their sister told them that network marketing is a scam, and you're not doing that pyramid thing, are you? And you never hear from them again. So you have a choice. You can either chase the birds or you can keep sowing the seed, right? And think about this. What happens if you chase the birds? You leave the field. You're out of the field. So you can make that choice to keep sowing the seed, right? And you keep sowing the seed, and sometimes that lands on thorny ground, and the thorns strangle it to death, and the small little itty bitty plant withers and dies, right? Because it gets strangled, you know? And those are your people that last a week. Those are people that sign up all gung-ho and they disappear. And you can either ask them why and try to convince them to please, 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 please stay, Or you can keep sowing the seed and just say, well, that's interesting. And you can keep sowing the seed. And then it's going to land on rocky ground, right? And this where the soil's shallow and the sun's going to fry it to death. And those are your people that couldn't be on this call because of an invalid excuse. They're working, of course, but let's say they had, puppy preschool. And they couldn't be on this team call, That is an example of a seed that lands on rocky ground. Excuses are those people. And you can either ask why and chase them down and try to convince them to do this, or you can keep sowing the seed. And finally, it's going to land on good soil. And that seed is, some of that seed is going to grow to 30% of its potential. Some of it's going to do 60, some 80, some 100s. And you can either spend your time trying to convince the 30s to grow into 100s, or you can keep sowing the seed until you find more 100s. That makes sense? So the bottom line is your business will grow if you keep on inviting people. That is the metaphor. Plug more people. And Chris Reed told me at the leadership retreat last year in wherever we were. And I sat down with him and I was asking him tips on building this business. And he goes, Brad, the secret's really simple. Grow into the person that you need to become and go find more people. That's it. That is your answer to this business. Go find more people. The secret to Success Club, more people. The secret to a bigger team, inviting more coaches. It's very simple. So we know 1 out of 10 are actually going to do this. And we know that you won't have to convince that 1 out of 10. Wouldn't it make sense to spend the majority of your time of your business giving more time to recruiting? The majority of your time recruiting? Lindsay Matway she never has to work another day in her life. If she didn't want to, she could literally walk away from this business and never have to work again. But she keeps sowing the seed and spends more than 50% of her time recruiting. So if you're a brand new coach, you spend all of your time recruiting. If you are a leader of a team, you spend the majority of your time recruiting, right? Tommy Migrant taught me something a couple months back that changed everything. And he said, would you rather run with 3 or carry 100 on your back? I can guarantee you that Raina has an Excel spreadsheet that shows the top 20% of her team that bring in the most volume. And she spends 80% of her time with that top 20%, right? You have to do the same thing. Identify who that top 20% is. Spend your time, all your personal one-on-one time with them. Work with everyone else in groups, okay? So that you're going to build this business much more efficiently. And when you work with those 20%, you're not going to leave those phone calls stressed out. And if you only have 2 or 3 people and none of them you feel are a 20%er, that means you need to go recruit, right? Here's another metaphor. Think about it like a business career fair. Why do companies always come back to colleges every year, right? Why do they always recruit new talent? Because people leave, right? People quit, people get transferred, people find something else, and they find very few people that are going to stay and rise to that executive level leadership position, right? Same thing with this business. So I've made this part of the conversation very clear, and I want to go into now just my favorite part, and that's where I am going to basically knock any excuse you have to the ground. And we're really going to find right now, and I want you to take an introspective look into yourself when we go through this. We're really going to find the people that want to change more than they want to stay the same. Because that was me. When I found my purpose and I wanted something to happen in this business, I wanted to change more than I wanted to stay the same. Okay? And that's what we're going to find right now. So first thing before that is that understand that everyone grows at different rates, right? You cannot spend your time comparing yourself to how other people are doing. Just do the absolute best that you can. I think Raina started coaching, Brett, like 2.5 years ago or something like that, 2.5 years ago. So think about it. Raina's a 12-star, whatever, crazy diamond coach, and I'm back at 2-star. Does that mean that I'm not a good coach? No. That means that I'm learning my lessons along the way and growing into the person that deserves that level of success, right? Friends of mine, Bonnie Engel and Brittany Leggett, both top coaches, right? Brittany started a month before me, and Bonnie started about 6 months after me. Right? Their business is much bigger than mine. And does that mean that I'm stopping because they passed me up? No. Everyone runs their own race. Stop comparing yourself to what other people are doing. Comparison is the thief of joy. It takes the fun out of what we do. Stop looking at someone else's highlight reel and comparing to your behind the scenes. Some people show up and they turn diamond in a week, right? Some people show up and it takes them 2 years to hit diamond. That does not mean they can't coach. Never compare yourself to others. Be happy for them and use their story and success as inspiration every single day. But look at Raina's upline, Leslie, right? Her first 6 months, she wasn't even an Emerald coach. It took her a year and a half to hit Diamond, and then another 6 months after that to hit 2-star, or another year after that to hit 2-star. 2 years before things really clicked with her. And now she's a multiple six-figure earner, right? Think about that. Why would, I guess first is rank does not equal leader. Influence equals leader. You all have the ability to motivate and inspire someone to be better than they were yesterday. And that has absolutely nothing to do with the rank attached to your Team Beachbody online office. If it did, why the hell would I be on this call? Why would I be guest speaking for a 12-star or higher Diamond coach when I have 3 or 2? Does it mean that I can't inspire to make an impact? No, it doesn't mean that for you either. And I remember being a new coach, and you almost feel like you're drinking out of a fire hose, right? There's so much information being thrown at you from all different angles, and you're trying to balance this with a family life and work and an overtime job. And, it's scary to take the lead, but I can promise you that if you take the lead and lead your own business right now, you will be so thankful that you did. So I want to go into some excuses that hold a lot of people back. And I want you to ask yourself if this is you, if you're this coach. How many of you guys have ever been afraid of what people might think of you? And that's why you're not posting social media content, or you're not sharing this business with other people as much as you should be. Anyone? I was guilty of that too. Okay, so I want to nail this one, just nip it in the bud right now. When you're focusing on what other people are thinking of you, you just took the focus completely off of our job of as being a Beachbody coach, of helping other people, and putting the focus completely onto yourself. You're not doing your job as a Beachbody coach when you focus on that. You're fueling your own ego. And this is the hard part for a lot of people to understand, is that people aren't thinking about you. That's the hard part to understand. They're not thinking about you. Think about this. When Raina shared her story, right, you saw some vulnerability and what she overcame to get to her goals in life, right? And you didn't think of what she did. You thought of how her story could benefit your life. You thought about what if that was me? That's the same thing that here. We're selfish beings. People are thinking about themselves and how your story relates to them. They're not thinking about you. And that took me so long to understand. And I used to use it as an excuse for not reaching out to people because I was afraid of what they were thinking, but they're not thinking about you. So I want to nail that one kind of right away. And we talked about failure earlier, so I don't need to go into that one, but I told you what Josh Spencer said. You just need to accept failure right now. Or what about you think that maybe you don't know enough people to be successful at this business? Anyone ever felt that way? I don't know enough people. I used to think that too when I first started out. And so I want to beat that excuse by talking about how you don't know who needs us. You don't know about that woman on the park bench or that dude that's on the train. You don't know their history. You don't know their pain, or if they have high blood pressure or high cholesterol, or if they're broke as a joke. You don't know how this can help or how this can benefit them, right? Think about these products and how they have influenced your life. Or think about this business and how it's changed your life. Even if you're a diamond coach or a star diamond coach, or if you're even Raina or any new coach, how have these products and this business influenced your life? Complete life change, right? Do you think there are other people out there right now that are struggling in the same way that you did before you started a product or this business? The answer is yes. Now I want you to imagine how much of a gift this was that you were given, right? Imagine if this gift was completely taken away from you. Carl Deichler called you up and said, hey, no more 21-day fix, no more Shakeology, no more insanity, no more coaching opportunity, you're done, return all the products. How would you feel, right, if you didn't have Shakeology anymore? Think about that. You don't have the right not to share this gift with people if it's changed your life that much. People need you, and you are enough to share with them. So that prospect list, that small prospect list of 100 people, just turned into 200 million people that are overweight or obese and need your help, not even including the 98% of this country that is broke as shit right now. We don't have the right not to share this with people. This is a big point, every single person in this world is a prospect if you have the courage to share your story with them, okay? Every single person in this world is a prospect if you have the courage to share your story. And my last excuse buster here is, how many of you guys have ever been afraid to attack this business because you have no idea how the heck you're going to balance this with an overtime or full-time job? Anyone? That was me for a very long time. And like I said, I did quit my job prematurely, but for the first 8 months, I was working 80 hours a week in the corporate world. For the first 8 months of this business, 80 hours a week, 16-hour days, sometimes 6 days a week. And if you use that as a great reason why you can't be successful or some rationale for why you don't have time to make this work, you just have to ask yourself, do you want your life to change or you want it to stay the same? And I remember that feeling of being absolutely terrified that I wasn't going to be able to grow this business. And I want to call out right now that time is the most illegitimate excuse out there. If you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done and add something to your life so you can subtract something away from your life. For the first 8-9 months, I told you I was working a lot of hours. I had no money to my name. I was in a long distance relationship. You can't tell me for 1 second that you don't have time. You do have time. You have limited time, but successful coaches make time. They see the long-term possibility and make short-term sacrifices to make that happen. A common excuse I hear from people on my team is, I'm going to wait until this project at work is all finished before I step it up even more. Or when Johnny gets out of soccer practice this summer, that's when I'll pick it up a little bit more. Guys, there is never going to be a right time to change the course of your life. Something else will always come up. And I can guarantee you that. There will never be a right time, but the same amount of time that you waste just kind of dilly-dallying and hoping it gets better is going to pass anyways. So you have a choice. You can keep using it as a great reason why you can't be successful, or you can do what successful people do and see it as an obstacle that you are going to break through regardless of the sacrifice. You need to make a sacrifice, and you're adding something onto your life. So ask yourself this question. What if I told you that in 1 year from now, if you do everything that Raina teaches you, you do it, everything, and implement what we talked about in this call, you do it for a year, and your life would be a complete night and day difference. Would you be willing to do what it takes? Would you have enough belief in the unknown to keep pushing? There is no difference whatsoever, and this is what I'll close with, between the abilities of Raina, Leslie, Lindsay, Matt Way, whoever the heck your upline is, myself, Scotty Hobbs, anyone. There's no difference in our abilities. It's our behavior. We decide to act and decide to make it happen. You guys came out of Summit, you came out of Super Saturday, and we're getting into the fall season, and you have this call. And the funny thing about this, though, and this is why you need to go into your purpose, opportunity is knocking on your door right now. An amazing opportunity that will change your life. It is not going to be convenient. It's not going to be wrapped in something shiny. It's not going to be easy, but opportunity is knocking. What are you going to do about it? This call is not going to be here tomorrow morning to fire you up, right? When Raina wakes up every day, she doesn't have all these people checking in to make sure she's successful. It's the stuff she does, her relationship with practice, when people are not looking, that make her successful. You see the bells and whistles in the highlight reel, right? You don't see the brutally painful stuff she goes through every day. So I don't care if you're a coach that signed up 5 years ago or 5 minutes ago. I don't care if you're an elite coach or an emerald coach. You all have a story that you can share. Some sort of excitement and passion and struggle behind what this has done for you, right? You all have the ability to impact and change someone's life from how it was yesterday. You just need to care about people with a deep enough purpose. And if you're that person that's just trying to learn everything without going out there and trying it, and be honest with yourself right now, if that's you, you're cheating yourself. You're giving up on yourself, and you're lying to yourself about your own potential. You're not going to be able to build this business nearly as efficiently without going out there and failing. You need to go out there and fall on your butt a couple of times. Success in this business will never just come to you. You need to go full throttle at this if you want it to change your life. A lot of people want the reward, but they don't want to do the work. You've seen all the highlight reels, right? What you don't see is the 4 a.m.s, the 5 a.m.s, the late nights after kids go to bed. You don't see people's hours. Where are yours? Where are your hours? Some people are going to go through this and they're going to go all out. Some people are going to go out through this call and put on the brakes. And when you're making that decision to slow down or not, answer one question, that same question: what would it feel like if your life was completely different in a year? Success in this business, and this hit me like a ton of bricks when I heard it, is not a matter of your life circumstance. It's not a matter of how many kids you have or how many hours you're working. It's not a matter of that. It has nothing to do with that. We all have crap in our lives in some way. Sure, some people worse than others, but it's what you do about your crap to influence the world that matters. Or else you're going to keep playing the victim role and ending up in the same exact spot 5 years from now. If you haven't hit Success Club in September, there is literally no reason why you should not be. Literally no reason. It is the bare minimum of what you do. Decide that you're going to do it and use this momentum in this pumped up feeling you have coming out of this call to move forward. Decide to make Shakeology and your workouts part of your day. Decide to invite, decide to use personal development. Decide that you're going to be successful and attack it with faith and believe it's possible before it happens. Attack it with enthusiasm and get excited about how your life's going to change, and do the action, the day-to-day commitment, and be here a year from now. Don't fall back. You can't fall back. You can't quit before the miracle happens. Someone said that to me, and I was completely iffy on it. They said, be here a year from now. And I thought they were freaking crazy, right? Your life will be completely different. And I talked about how opportunity is knocking. And what are you going to do about it? But just apply it and run with it and make no excuses and make that decision to change people's lives. Make that decision to push through fear and promise yourself. Don't promise your coach. Promise yourself that instead of shrinking your dreams to the size of your income, you're going to build your income to the size of your dreams, because you guys can, and I believe in you, and that's all I got. So, Raina, that's actually perfectly 50 minutes, right? Like I said, awesome.
Perfect. Literally, Brett and I you probably saw our lips, we were like, oh my gosh, yes, like every 5 seconds during your little, I'm so pumped up. And I just want to say that he's posting in our team page right now about you. But the be here a year from now, I heard that also when I first started as a coach, and I was like, all right, yeah, whatever. But it's so powerful if you think about it. If you are consistent in doing these same things every single day, you show up every single day, a year from now, you are correct. Your life will be different. It's a fact. Now, if you're just sitting and floating on the title of coach and not really doing anything, yeah, you're going to be in the same spot. Everything takes action. So I love what you said. And my biggest of 20 takeaways was when you said, not what do I have to do, but who do I have to become to be successful in this? And just in case you guys don't know who I am, I came from, a broken marriage and eating disorders and all kinds of things. And I wasn't a leader. I was a follower for sure. I hid behind my husband. And I am not even close to the same person I was when I first started. I completely transformed into who I needed to be successful in this business. And turns out it was who I was, deep down all along. It's who I was meant to be. But it's not who I was when I started as a coach. So that was an awesome takeaway for me. Do you want to say?
No, Brad,
he's over here.
That was a great call. I mean, sometimes, it's great just to hear some of the same things from a different perspective and from, just positioned and played out differently. So great job, man. Great real talk, great points. And I just posted on our team page, this is a call I'm going to follow people. They need to listen to that call. You made so many good points that, like I said, I don't care if you've been a coach, what'd you say, for 5 years or 5 minutes? No, it was fantastic, man. Well done. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you. Do you have time for a couple questions? Is that okay?
Yeah, I got nothing else going on today. So.
Good. Okay. So I have people posted 3 questions, but then I'll kind of let everybody unmute if they have anything else they want to ask. But we have a brand new coach, just turned 18 and signed up with me yesterday. And so I know she's super excited. And so she said, what's your biggest piece of advice for any new coaches starting out?
Oh my gosh. That is such a hard question.
I know, isn't it?
I guess if you're 18 years old, if I can only give one, you're 18 years old, and that's, first of all, freaking amazing. Your life is going, I can't even begin. Is she or he on the call, by the way?
She is. Kaylee down here. Yeah.
Where are you, Katie?
No picture, but she's there at the bottom.
Okay, awesome. Well, first of all, your life is going to be completely different than the majority of people that you know at this time in your life, which is amazing. And you can inspire them to make that same change in their life. But something that, if I could give you my biggest tip for someone in your situation, don't let your circumstance of being younger affect the outcome of this business. That can be such an easy excuse to make. My friends don't have the money, or a lot of people think this is a scam or something like that. It can be very easy for you to say those things in the situation you're in. Don't let that dictate your future. If you're joining this business, you see the promise and what it's done for someone else's life. Don't use that as a reason why you can't be successful. Use that as the reason to become successful. So that'd be my biggest tip.
That's perfect. Brett had a question he posted. When you dropped from 3-star to diamond, how did you keep yourself motivated and push forward? We had Judd on the call last week, I think it was, and he shared how he had dropped from like 10-star to diamond, and how he pushed through it. And so I'm curious to hear, what you did to keep going in that.
Yeah, and I think too, you don't have to necessarily look at it from, going from, a rank, perspective, but like for those people that feel like they're just pushing and moving forward, and then they hit a certain point where they're not, they become stagnant. How do you, how did you keep yourself going? Because that's hard. That's hard when you lose rank and you feel like what you're doing and the time you're putting in isn't working. What did you do?
Couple things I did. That's a freaking awesome question. A couple things I did was, one, this.
Bam.
This. And that's the cookie cutter answer, right? Do personal development, right? That's what everyone's going to tell you. But I think one of the biggest things that is true. Like that is, I had to grow into the person that could advance again, right? And so I poured myself into becoming a bigger person and someone that could achieve success. But I think the biggest thing I did was, and I noticed a very significant change in my business when I just had this little switch in mindset. It's a very small thing, but when you're in that situation, it's very easy to feel negative, right? Why am I not a 3-star anymore? What am I doing wrong? Why are my coaches not hitting Success Club? Why is this not duplicating? Why does no one want to purchase a challenge pack? And right there is the answer to why you're stuck there. What I did was I switched it to, what can I do to help my coaches hit Success Club? What can I do to inspire more people to join a fitness challenge? What do I need to do to build this business? And I turned it from a scarcity mindset to a success mindset. And it's just a little change. It's a conscious choice that you have to make. And when you're beginning in your personal development journey, it's going to be really freaking hard to do that. And it takes time and effort of just trying it over and over again. But write a note above your computer saying something. Instead of thinking about the negative, think about how I can flip this into a positive. And that was the biggest thing for me. I sat at diamond for a year. After I was 3-star, I went back to diamond. And my business shrank in size that entire year. I think I lost like 60 coaches in my organization total year to year. And right when things started growing was when I just switched to, what do I have to do to help? What do I have to do to make this happen? Not, why is this not happening? So that's probably the biggest piece. And it goes back to just more personal development.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Maybe one more question. Do you invite everyone to the coaching opportunity, hoping to grab that one person out of every 10, or do you look for certain skill sets and results beforehand?
Oh, good question. When you're starting out,
I was going to say, make it a 2-part. What did you do in the beginning, and what do you do now?
Yeah. In the beginning, you feel like you're like one of those golf ball rakes, where you're throwing out there and just trying to get every single person in the freaking world into your business because you want this to grow. But something that Josh Spencer told me a while ago is you have to identify who you're talking to. And a great way to do that is to be who you needed. Be who you needed before coaching and talk to that person. Share the struggle of what you went through, because think about it. If a mistake I made was I would intentionally try to attract a bunch of women to my business that were moms that needed to lose like their post-baby weight, right? Because I knew that 21-day fix would be an easy sell, right, to those people. But when it came to converting them to coaches and getting each other, I realized that I needed to reevaluate that and talk to people that struggle with the same corporate lifestyle that I had, or might be a little bit younger that can relate to me. I mean, I just turned 26. I'm a young person. So I can talk to those people more. So to answer that question in a nutshell, be who you needed. Make a list of who you needed, and if someone comes out of the woodwork that you don't really relate to that wants to be a coach, connect them with someone on your team that might be able to better relate to them and still mentor them along the way. That's what Josh Spencer told me, and that's what I've been doing, and it's been helping. But it comes back to identifying who you were before coaching. I don't know if that answers it, but.
That's good. I like it. Anybody else have any questions before we let him get back to nothing? Anybody? Raise your hand. I'll unmute you. No questions about recruiting, about failure, about personal development, nothing.
Nothing? I don't bite.
Not either. I'll be lame.
You'll be lame?
Nobody.
Oh, don't be lame is what you said. No one? Oh, there we go. We got one.
Who is it?
Kate.
Kate Kraft.
Oh, okay. Can you unmute? Let me unmute you.
I did. I got it.
Okay.
My fingers we're trying to build the deck, so it's a bit of a struggle out here. Your failure that when you went from 3-star back to diamond for the year, how did that impact your income without that full-time job anymore? We had a 6-figure job that we left back in May, and we've got the savings because all we did was work for that 6-figure income. But it's slowly starting to dwindle, and we hit diamond today. We got our last coach locked in. Yeah, it's freaking rock star. It's a great day in our house. But like, we got to kick it in gear in the next 6 months, or I got to go clean houses or do something. How do you just keep going and not focus on the fact that if you don't, you're dead? Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's a very good question. I think to answer part one of your question about like, what did that actually do for my income was, keep in mind that I built a completely retail business. So I wasn't focused on building a team. So it didn't really change my income very much because I had a lot of skeleton diamonds. It wasn't like that big of a change. And because those diamonds quit, I absorbed their coaches. So it didn't make that big of an impact. A way that it would impact you long-term is, and this I'm just going to keep really simple, is if you're maxed out in cycle bonuses, dropping rank makes an impact, but that's something to worry about way later on. I think the biggest thing goes back to really, what do you do to keep going? Like, how do you keep going? It goes back to what I answered earlier about turning that negative into a positive and identifying the reason for doing this, because when things get hard, and they will, like, I'm just going to call out to every coach on this team, there will be a point in your coaching career that this gets very, very, very hard. And you're going to need to go through that. If you have that purpose identified, you're going to keep going no matter what. So work with Raina or your upline on identifying that. Buy that book I talked about. And I know this isn't a direct 1-point answer, but if you have a reason for being here still, you're never going to give up. If you know what this is, that you've seen what it's done for Raina's life and Leslie's life and Anita's life, if you have a purpose that's deep enough, you're never going to give up with it. So very vague answer, but I hope that helped in some way.
Kind of a vague question, so thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, and I talked to Kate the other day too, and I shared how, for the first 6 months, 9 months, maybe of our business, it was all retail. If I didn't sell a challenge pack, I probably wasn't going to get a paycheck. And it just takes time to build up that residual income and that team cycle bonus. But like you said, it's just about finding those 1 out of 10 people, and you've got a solid team cycle bonus that'll start. So, last question. Kari or Colby, I don't know who it is, one of them asked, I know you have mentioned your sex partner.
Wow. Yes.
Success. I know you have mentioned your success partner a few times. How often do you talk to them or meet with them, and do you cover specific things?
And who's your sex partner?
I have 2 success partners that I talk with very regularly, almost every day. And that is Trey Bearer and Colleen. Eddie was her last name before, but Colleen Curtis. When we worked in the corporate world, that was very difficult because our nights consisted of making calls and putting up good content. So it's going to get a little bit easier further down the road you get. But I talk to Trey and Colleen every day, every other day. We talk on the phone or on Zoom once a week minimum. And we just rapid fire things that we're struggling with. And what you'll notice about having a success partner is that, like, or a sex partner, like Rena says, is that no pun intended, when you're up, they're down. And when you're down, they're up.
Okay, let's go on another team here.
when you're up, they're down. And when you're down, they're up. And so it's a really good balance because they can help pick you back up. And if you don't know what to talk about with a success partner, go over struggles, successes, and things that you're working on and goals for the following week. And that's a good start. And you'll be able to kind of click with these people. And I had to go through a bunch of success partners before I found Trey and Colleen. So long answer, but I hope that answered it.
You'll find people you click with and that it works. I've been through a few as well, so it's not it's a hard thing to find that person that you mesh well with, 100% of the time. So it's cool. I thank you so much for everything you shared. I literally have 3 pages of notes, and Brett and I got a ton of takeaways, and I know our team did too. We have like a thread, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So I really appreciate it again, and gosh, now the pressure's on to be awesome on your team call tomorrow. So.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, and please hit Success Club, guys. You have plenty of time to do it.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you. Everybody have a good day.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye.